Hello there, friends, family, and co-workers. I'm allowed to say that. We're all co-working together, even though we're far apart, right? Today I thought I'd do something a little different. So if you're here, it means that you love what I have to say about Medium. I thought one thing I could do would be to read some of my more popular stories at the moment, and just in like a vlog format, give a little bit more context around some of my stories. Recently, I had reason to think about what makes someone attractive. I wrote about it. It was curated in Self and Relationships and got published in Mind Cafe, currently sitting at about 1,000 views. If you're interested, check it out. I'll post the link in the bio. Now, I'm not talking about like hot, although of course that matters. I'm talking about emotional attraction. What are the habits that make someone emotionally attractive to you? Research actually shows that the emotional stage is where people fall in love and where they bond. And I mean, when I was younger, I thought that there was going to be no better feeling than that rush of initial physical chemistry when you meet someone and you just click. But the feeling of being emotionally attracted, it takes a little bit longer to build, but it's so much stronger and it feels just amazing. Emotional attraction is one of the 4 types of attraction that psychologists have discovered and researched, and it's actually one of the hardest. So the others are status, health, and logic-based attraction. Emotional attraction, it's hard to put your finger on what makes someone emotionally attractive. But even though it's the least understood, for me, it's the most compelling. So here's a quote from Rachel Perlstein, who's a psychotherapist. Sometimes people find themselves initially drawn to the person they're most physically attracted to, but when there isn't a deeper emotional connection, they have a hard time continuing the relationship. That's exactly why I was so fascinated to read about it. I looked into psychology journals, I was reading blog posts on other people's thoughts on the subject. Let's get into the 8 signs, the 8 habits of emotionally attractive people. No matter who you are, you've run into somebody like this before and you've just felt that tug. You know what it feels like. Let's get into quantifying it. Number 1, they're comfortable telling you no. So you're gonna be right off the bat like, what? How can someone emotionally attractive be telling you no and that's attractive to you? But the fact is that research shows we crave boundaries in our relationship. We want someone who's gonna respect themselves and respect us enough to say no. Most people feel the urge to betray our boundaries. I'm looking at you, people pleaser. I'm one of you too. We want to make the person that we like feel like we'll do anything because we want their approval so badly. People who are emotionally attractive don't do that because they're so secure in themselves that they don't feel the need to bend over backwards to make you happy. That's something we're really attracted to. Number 2, they never share negative gossip. All right, this one's a bit of a buzzkill because I love sharing negative gossip. Honestly, I'm a negative gossiping Nelly. What can I say? But you know what happens when I talk bad about people all the time? The people that I'm gossiping to start to wonder, is she saying this kind of stuff about me behind my back? As good as it feels in the moment, the upshot is that people associate you with negativity. That's not to say that all gossip is bad. Research shows that gossip is actually, for the most part, like positive and neutral gossip is totally fine. But before you gossip, just remember, think twice, never share details for personal gain, and never exaggerate when you gossip. And that way you can avoid being emotionally unattractive like I was in my youth. Number 3, they remember the smallest detail about you. I remember when I got one of my first serious crushes. It was on a boy, and it wasn't even anything big. I brought out a yellow binder in school or something. He was like, oh yeah, I remember your favorite color is yellow. And I was like, you remember my favorite color is yellow? It was bad. I'm over that crush now, but seriously, that's all it took, just one small detail. Most people, the reason this is so emotionally attractive is because most people, when we have conversations, the bar is very low, right? We have low attention span. We're only interested in our own agendas. Like, it's a serious case of main character syndrome when we talk to other people. We're mostly focused on ourselves. Emotionally attractive people pay attention to you. They're listening to you. They're reflecting on when you're telling them. That manifests itself in listening and actually remembering what you say. And then when they bring that up later and they're like, oh yeah, I remember you said X thing to me 6 months ago, or you're interested in this thing, or you find this really fascinating. That feels amazing. It feels like they've taken a big old spotlight and just shown it right on you. And as a person, to have that recognition, to feel like you've been seen, feels incredible. One way that you can do this at home today is just be a little bit more mindful of it. So at the end of your day, before you fall asleep, take 5 minutes and just actively try to recall details about the individuals that you interacted with. Did they mention kids names, pets names? jobs, ideas, details. Try to remember them, write them down if you have to, and bring them up during your next interaction. Number 4 is they are fastidiously on time to everything. Research shows that when your partner is late to something, your brain goes through something called attribution. You try to justify to yourself why they're late. This happens once and you're like, whatever, life happens, it's fine. This happens again and you're already starting from a lower place. And it happens a 3rd time and a 4th time and a 5th time. And your brain is exhausted by trying to make up these excuses for someone else. And they're finally just like, all right, I give up. They just don't care about me. Even if the person is late for totally legitimate reasons, if it happens often enough, that's what's going through your brain, this attribution process, where eventually you just have to face the fact that your brain doesn't think they care about you. That hurts. That never feels good. People who are emotionally attractive never do this. They're almost always on time. This is how they show that they respect you, by respecting your time. They value your time, and that feels like they're valuing you in turn. It's an easy thing to do. Just put on a watch and show up early or on time to everything. Number 5, they are dangerously vulnerable with you. There's this misconception, right, of the sort of mysterious stranger that's super attractive. Yeah, there is a certain allure to someone who doesn't tell you everything and you're kind of left guessing. But there's also, like, emotionally attractive people aren't hidden behind 100,000 layers. They let you in. Most of us don't actually do this. We don't overshare. It's scary because you've been hurt in the past and you don't want to overshare today because you're like, I'm just going to get hurt again, and you don't want that. And that's totally fair. But if you make the foundation of your relationship about superficial things like attractiveness or passing interests or trends or anything else that you feel comfortable enough to share on the surface, your relationship is only going to be superficial. Emotionally attractive people are able to really bond with others by talking freely about what's important to them. You don't have to share trauma. You don't have to get really personal. Just talk about the things that matter to you. Don't be embarrassed about your passions, your hobbies, what's important. Share that, and that will make you emotionally attractive to others. The only way to create emotional attraction is to make the decision to be vulnerable, says dating coach and relationship coach Laurel House. Number 6, you never see their phone. Hopefully this doesn't mean you're going to find me emotionally unattractive. I'll put it away. Ever since smartphones came out, the outside world is just a single ping away. So for a lot of us, the temptation is too hard to ignore. Research actually shows that we check our phones every 10 minutes on average. Part of that is the fear of missing out, right? Like every notification is a chance for you to see a comment notification, like, invite, something. You just don't want to miss it. But emotionally attractive people are very secure in themselves, they're confident in what they're doing, and they're not afraid to let 1 notification, 10 notifications, 100 notifications go unanswered, because at the moment they're talking to you. You're what matters most to them, and they're going to show that, and you'll never see their phone. The reason that this is so emotionally attractive to us is because it signals to us that you, the person I'm talking to right now, you're the one who matters most to me, not the 100 people on the other end of my phone. You. And I mean, like, especially because the opposite is such a common experience. Like, who among us has not been interrupted by a buzzing phone, like, at the dinner table or something? It's awful. You feel like what you're saying and what you're doing doesn't matter as much as whoever's on their phone. To learn how to put your present relationships above your phone, it's not hard. Just turn off your notifications. You don't have to do it all the time. Just start off a couple hours a day or 1 day a week and just see how that makes your relationships flourish. Number 7, they keep small promises, aka they ain't flaky. Our relationships are complex social engagements. So when I make you a promise, I say, I'm going to publish a video every Friday and Sunday. I'm making a very small emotional withdrawal. And you're like, okay, Zuli said she's going to do this. Let's see if she actually does. So then I publish every Friday, and every Sunday I put out a new video, and you're like, she did it. She did what she said she was going to do. And then you give me back my withdrawal with interest. So that way that our relationship, it grows because you can trust me to do the things that I've said I'm going to do. If I break it, as I've been guilty of doing in the past, if I say I'll do something and then I don't do it, I don't get that deposit back. You keep it, and it takes a while for that trust to grow back. This is from Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about these emotional banks that build trust. Emotionally attractive people, they're the ones that we can trust to do what they've said. You don't have to take on huge responsibilities. You don't have to publish every Friday and Sunday to YouTube if you want to gain emotional attractiveness. Just do what you say you will. It can be as easy as offering to pick up milk from the grocery store and then you do so. Or give an honest opinion on an outfit. The more you're trusted, the more attractive you are emotionally. Last but not least, number 8. They give you space. It is amazing to have someone right there when you need them, but the opposite is true too. Sometimes you need space from a relationship. The reason space is so emotionally attractive to us is because it signals self-security. So I don't know about you, but I've been in a relationship where I have been the kind of self-sufficient party and somebody else has been the kind of clingy and needy type. And that to me just signaled like that they weren't confident in and of themselves, and that was unattractive. Emotionally attractive people don't show that at all. They let you know that they're there when you need them, but if not, they're just fine. They're off doing their own thing, enjoying themselves. We find that very attractive. If you want to be more emotionally attractive, just let go a little bit. Try not to be the first person to text or call. If you go to an event with somebody else, give them space and try to make your own friends. It's scary, but the act of giving others space shows them that you're someone who knows your own value. So if you've been paying attention during these 8 habits, you'll notice that they probably all came down to 2 things. People who are emotionally attractive value you and they value themselves. I mean, I could have written the whole blog post or the whole video about just that, but the fact is it's hard to quantify that. So you can see that mind frame breaks itself down into these 8 habits that you can easily pick up and learn how to do and become more emotionally attractive through those 8 habits. It's much harder to just say, value yourself, and then how do you learn to, it's hard to learn to value yourself, just point blank. These 8 habits let you go through the motions of valuing yourself and valuing others in a way that they'll recognize and will make you emotionally attractive. Breaking it out into these 8 habits, you'll see it's not so hard to become emotionally attractive today. Just start picking any one of them up and you'll be on your way in no time. So if you like this format, a little unusual, a little surprising, a little special, let me know. I would love to hear from you in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts if you want to see more of this, less of this. You never want to see this again. That's totally cool. Just let me know, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.